Palermo, Sicily. We are waiting for the embarkation of our vehicle to Tunisia. We want to cross the African continent by our camper van. The journey starts in Tunis with final destination Cape Town, about 25,000 kilometers through the Black Continent. It is end of November, and we have a mild winter evening, which is typical for the Mediterranean coast. We are already on board the ferry. We, that's me, Eric, my wife Alexandra, and our female Labrador dog Tara. From the ferry we have a splendid view of Palermo. We have to wait until the ship is fully loaded. Here begins our uncertain adventure. After all the hectic preparations, we have time to think about our project. Doubts are cast. Crazy is what our friends and acquaintances have called us for traveling by car through Africa. Dangerous, they said. Robberies and kidnappings are common there. Yes, we know that, but a lot of fears and concerns seem to us exaggerated. My only concern is our vehicle, an updated two-wheel drive Citroën van with a lot of electronics under the hood. And soon, my concerns are proved to be correct. Finally we go. The ferry leaves the harbor towards Tunis. We only had 2 months preparation time. The car got another gear, equipment was organized, and a meeting with other companion travelers had to be scheduled, because we do not travel alone. We are in a group of a total of 5 vehicles on the road, one of which is 2 tour guides who will lead us through Africa. We will meet on a campsite near Tunis. On board with us are Heidi and Guido and Ursel and Hans. The ferry from Palermo to Tunis takes about 9 hours. We have a lot of fun with the 2 couples from Germany by telling past travel adventures to pass the time. We are traveling with Seabridge, a German tour operator which has specialized in tours of this kind. At the campsite near Tunis, we make ourselves comfortable and wait for the tour leaders and the 4th vehicle, a Mercedes truck, carrying Achim and Ingrid. They will arrive during the next few days. One of our most important pieces of equipment is the 2-flame fuel stove. Petrol, because the fuel is available everywhere. Guido and Heidi are on the move with a Volkswagen Synchro, which is very comfortable and self-contained. It is a 4-wheel drive vehicle with modified suspension and large 16-inch wheels. Although we will be traveling as a group, everyone is going for themselves. In the evening there is a route meeting where the next part of the route is discussed. In the morning everybody leaves in their own time. During the early evening we meet at an agreed place for the night or wait together at sites. Our dog is used to traveling and enjoys being on the road. Suspicious, she watches the dog from the campsite, who keeps lazy in the shadow to hold his morning nap. At the back door of our Citroën there is a jerrycan fixed, and further ones are stored inside to have a range of approximately 1,000 kilometers. This will be the longest stretch without a gas station. The laundry must be washed by hand, mostly because washing machines are rare, and if they are existing, usually only with cold water. Our guides, Joachim and Renate, have arrived with their Toyota. The Mercedes truck with Ingrid and Achim has arrived as well. Now we are complete. We did not know at this time that we soon would not see the group anymore. For the next day we plan a visit to the souks of Tunis. The capital of Tunisia is located in the north of the country. It is inhabited by 900,000 people. Tunis has two faces, the modern Western-style city with shopping malls and the Oriental Muslim city with winding streets and the old souk. This is precisely the place we want to visit. By commuter train we travel to the center. The vehicles we leave at the campsite as there is no parking in the center anyway. Even our dog Tara must stay behind. Renate, our guide, shows us the market halls. We are amazed at the variety of goods, vegetables, fruit, but also fish and meat are offered here. From the market hall we walk through the narrow streets to the Medina, the old town of Tunis. There's also the souk or bazaar. Again and again fruits are offered on the street. Especially of good taste are the prickly pears, unusual for our European taste. We are impressed by the last remaining city gate of the old town. The old town dates back to the 9th century and is a maze of streets with dwellings, shops and craftsmen shops. Today the gate stands alone on the square to the entrance to the Medina. It seems to look almost like a triumphal arch. By the time Tunisia was still French protectorate, the magnificent houses testify behind the gate. 1956 Tunisia became independent and the French left the country. What they left behind was the Arabic and French language. We push through the narrow streets of the old town. Again and again we are struck by how different the wearing of the wheel is handled. There are women without a headscarf and there are women that cover just their hair with the cloth. The overall veil we see very rarely. The smoke pipe, called shisha here, cannot be missed in the daily lives of Tunisians. The selection is extensive. They are offered in all colors. The origin of the current form is in Egypt. Smoking together with others is seen today as a symbol of friendship. On entering the old town is the tourist part of the souk. Here all dispensable sorts of things are offered. We also find in this section lots of cafes, where the smoke pipe can be enjoyed and snacks are available as well. We reluctantly leave and penetrate deeper into the more original parts. Food stalls offer a wide variety of pastries, where they are fried in hot fat and filled with egg, minced meat, herbs, tuna or seafood. Of course, there are a number of scams in the souk. The tricks are really good and skillful. They tell you they have connections in your home country and you are caught in the trap. They offer you special carpets or special attractions. Of course, we fall into the trap. We console ourselves over the many euros we ended up spending by the splendid view over the Medina, the old town, the view we probably would not have found otherwise. We visit the Madrasa Slimania, which belongs to a complex of 3 Islamic schools. It was used to study the Quran and was lodging for the students who came from across the country and had their rooms here. The Slimania was founded in 1756 by Ali Pasha, but does not serve as an Islamic school anymore. Next door we find another Islamic school. It now acts as a training center for goldsmiths. A few steps further we visit the mausoleum Turba del Bey, clearly recognized by the dome. Ali Pasha II built the mausoleum in the second half of the 18th century. Here the rulers, their families and high ministers are buried. The dozens of graves are decorated mainly in white marble, many with elaborate stone carvings, fonts, ornaments, some with colored marble inlays. Women's graves are bordered at both ends with marble slabs. From the patios you get to several columned domed rooms where graves are also found. From Tunis we leave in the early morning to go around 100 km east to the ruins of Tuga. Gently the old Roman settlement hugs on the hill. Already from a distance you can see the pillars of the largest and best preserved Roman cities of Tunisia. We are the first one at the excavation site and wait for the others. We enjoy the peace and tranquility that is still present here in the hinterlands of Tunisia. Shepherds herd their cows and everything is so peaceful. Tuga only in 1997 was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was founded as a settlement for veterans of the former soldiers of the Roman Empire. Our guide is waiting in the ruins until we are complete. The weather is cool, it is already December. During this time the weather in Tunisia is quite changeable. Already Guido and Heidi are arriving with their Volkswagen, followed closely by Achim and Ingrid with their truck. The Mercedes is the most powerful of the vehicles and we are all sure that he will pull us out of the sand or mud if needed.
Blend doch mal auf, Ingrid.
Our guided tour begins at the theater, which seats about 3,500 spectators. 15 meters high are the seat rows.
Under the Tunis, Carthagena, 117, the Roman city from Emperor Caesar. In der Stadt in Duga 600 Meter auf.
Our guide has a lot of knowledge and tells about the city and the theater. Hans listens patiently and interested, while Ursula is entirely dedicated to photography. We climb in the last row of seats and enjoy the wonderful view over the city. From the stage there still exists the porch with slender columns. We are most impressed by the Capitol, one of the finest Roman monuments in Africa. The building was built as a temple for the gods Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva. The pillars are outstanding, with Corinthian capitals, and gable relief is a golden eagle. After the veteran settlement was firmly established, old and new neighborhoods grew together, and a town center was created with a forum and market. Wealthy citizens competed to beautify their city by generous foundations. Temples, theaters, triumphal arches, and houses were added. Also tanks, and the Lysinos thermal bath was built. The pools could be heated. The baths are a maze of cold, luke and hot water baths from lobbies, halls and adjoining rooms. We are astonished about the toilets. The area is built in an oval shape where every meter there is a hole. The people sat together, sociable, and made their big business. Unimaginable for today's terms, yet exemplary for its time, with a trough and hand basin. Who knows what we will expect in this respect of our trip? First of all, a cup of coffee in the adjacent cafe. The further route is discussed. We drive a few miles to a hotel. There we will spend the night on the parking lot. Before dusk we reach the hotel. The car park is not situated idyllically, which was not expected anyway, but we can use the showers and get delicious dinner with good wine. Wine is also available in Muslim countries. At early morning we start again. Dara does her morning walk, while Achim and Ingrid are still asleep in the truck. From our overnight stay in Kef, we travel through vast plains and rolling hills in the direction of Maktar. Again and again we stop to enjoy the magnificent view. The area is desert-like, a stone desert with only sparse vegetation. In the distance we see Hans and Ursel coming with their four-wheel drive Mercedes Sprinter. And already Guido and Heidi are catching up. The last to arrive are always the tour guides Renate and Joachim, as they collect those who might have broken down on the road. They are the last to start the day's route. Gathered at the roadside, we have fun and enjoy the beautiful landscape. But soon it goes on, because we must master our day's route, otherwise we will be behind our daily schedule, because we want to be in Cape Town in 142 days. We reach the ancient Maktar. The most important building is the Trajan's Arch that borders the Forum in the south. It was built by the citizens in honor of their emperor. After the fall of Carthage and the flight of the Carthaginians to Maktar, their culture shaped the city and held its own against the later Roman influence. Well preserved are the thermal baths, of which columns, pools, mosaics and arches still bear witness to the former splendor. The cobbled streets are also well preserved, and the amphitheater with oval arena surrounded by two circular walls as well. From Maktar we go on to the holy town Kairouan on the same day. Again and again we stop and appreciate the wonderful landscape. The inner city of Kairouan is very compact and not very large. You can reach all the tourist attractions by foot. Around the city runs a ring road. We park in front of the Great Mosque. The impressive three-tiered minaret is the oldest in North Africa. The base is from the 8th century and was built of Roman stones. The ribbed dome with copper balls only came in the 13th century. We enter the mosque yard from the side entrance. On the south side of the courtyard are 17 heavy cedar doors decorated with carvings leading to the huge prayer room. There is no access for non-Muslims. Here we expect our guide. He tells about the mosque and Islamic daily routine, about prayers and when they are held.
7 Meter tief und dann gibt es 50 Säulen hier unten. Und in der Moschee gibt es immer eine Gebetsräume, reserviert für die Leute zum Beten.
In the mosque there are prayer rooms inside, a courtyard for washing and a tower for the muezzin to call. 128 steps, 33 meters high, and the muezzin had to climb up here 5 times a day in former times, because we have to pray 5 times a day. First time at 6:30 in the morning he calls. That depends on the sun and changes a little every day. In winter at 6 or 6:15, but in summer, in July and August, he called at 4:30 approximately, because the sun rises at 5 o'clock.
Aber im Sommer, Juli, August, ruft
At the first muezzin you have an hour time to pray, when the sun rises, but in the morning people sleep and might not listen to maybe the first call of the muezzin, then he calls an hour and a half later, and then each quarter of an hour. If you cannot hear it the first time, it will be the 4th or 6th time you will be woken up. The next time it calls 10 minutes after 12 o'clock, the third time at 3 o'clock, the fourth time when the sun goes down, the next time it calls 10 minutes after 12 o'clock, the third time at 3 o'clock, the fourth time when the sun goes down, and the fifth time when it is already dark.
Die zweite 10 nach 12 ungefähr jetzt. Die dritte 5 von 3, 10 von 3 ungefähr. Die vierte, wenn die Sonne untergeht, und die fünfte.
The size is impressive. The courtyard measures 135 by 80 meters. Young female Muslims gather in the courtyard. Women also have access to the Great Mosque. Their hours of prayer, however, are different to those of the men. We are impressed by the interior. As non-Muslims we must not enter, but can see through the gate. A forest of columns of marble, granite and porphyr, with capitals of various origins, Roman, Byzantine, Arab, supports the ceiling. The furniture was brought in from Baghdad the 9th century. The sophisticated lighting is very dim. The courtyard is lined with marble, revolved by 3 sides of column-supported arcades. The huge surface area of the courtyard was also utilized to collect rainwater, which was used for drinking and ablutions. The water flowed through a particle filter in the center of the courtyard into the cisterns beneath. Through several well openings it was again raised. We walk through the Medina. It is restored perfectly, with 20 watchtowers and with several gates surrounded by a city wall that encircles the old city to 3.5 kilometers in length. So walking through the streets, we see further numerous mosques. We see the minaret of the Three Doors Mosque, built in 1440. It is one of the oldest mosques in the city and was built by an Andalusian immigrant. Non-Muslims can only marvel at the 3 entrance doors and the huge Moorish-style held facade, carved Kufic fonts, arabesques and ornamental decorations. We like the craft stores that are open to the road, where cloth is woven and wood is carved. We are sorry for the poor camel in the Val Baruta. Under the dome at the first floor it drives the cogs of a large pumping station. The poor animal has to go blindfolded in a circle around the fountain. Pilgrims, but more tourists, tend to buy here holy water from the legendary source that was emerging at the founding of Kairouan. Fairly concerned, we leave the unspeakable place. Such an attraction will not be supported by us. We end the day in the courtyard of the hostel of Kairouan. The next morning at dawn we break up again. The route runs from Kairouan to Spitla and to Tozeur, and from there through Chott el Djerid further on to Dus. At dawn we leave the city. We cannot find the correct exit road. We are still doing the lap of honor along the walls surrounding the historic center. The traffic at this time in the otherwise very busy city is fairly quiet. In spite of that, one must be careful, because here everybody goes forth and back and the pedestrians are often unpredictable. Otherwise, driving is no problem. We drive on the side, as most countries in Europe. This will change once reaching Kenya. Kairouan we liked very well. A shame that we had just one day. There is still so much to be seen. We have a satellite navigation device on board with a map of a South African producer. The tracks for Africa are a good help when navigating, although Tunisia still has some white spots on the map. Finally, we have circled the city and are on the right road to Spitla. We enjoy the journey overland, for there are so many interesting things to see. After a short drive, we reach Spitla, where the Roman excavations Sophetula are. Even from the outside the excavation site, you can visit the Arch of Diocletian. Over-restored, we feel the theatre with its charming location. But impressive is the archway that leads to the Forum and Capitol. The three arches Antonius Pius Arch borders the 70 meters long and 60 meters wide Forum. Particularly well preserved is the three-part Capitol Temple, dedicated to the Roman gods Juno, Jupiter and Minerva. Especially beautiful is the front and the Corinthian columns at the Temple of Juno. Continuing on, we pass through Casarine. The city lies between two mountain ranges and is a French foundation. The main street runs 5 kilometers through the village. Here exists denser traffic, and we progress slowly. In Casarine we left the ridge of the Dosale behind us, which is a climate barrier and prevents the humid Mediterranean air masses from the central Tunisian savanna. It is hot and dry here. South of Gafsa begins the desert savanna and the Sahara. The road condition is good in Tunisia. The further you get into the south and in the hotter climate zones, the worse the asphalt gets because it softens by the heat. Since the last gas station, our car has problems. It turns off the engine by itself. We stop at the roadside and replace the diesel filter. Then there is peace, and it goes on. We arrive easily without problems to Gafsa and want to visit the Kasbah. From the building only the outer walls, some side buildings and 3 corner towers have survived. In the Second World War the French hold a munition depot here which flew into the air and damaged the Kasbah. From Gafsa we head towards Tunis. Guido and Heidi have overtaken us and we want to visit Tunis and have coffee together. We turn off to the center of Tunis. The streets are narrow, the traffic heavy, and we need a fairly large parking lot for our vehicles. The city makes a very nice impression. We wind our way through the main street with restaurants, cafes and many shops. Woven carpets dominate the streets. Finally, we find a parking space in front of a bank. We are fascinated by the old slender minaret that overlooks the old city. We feel as if we are in the world of Lawrence of Arabia or transferred into the tales of 1001 Nights. On the main road there are shops, one after the other, hidden under arcades to protect from the blazing sun. Here it can reach well over 50 degrees in summer. Here the horse cart is not a tourist attraction, but is everyday transport. Elaborately decorated is the central fountain. On multi-story cylinders, tiles are fixed. The well is built of mud bricks which are strung together in a pattern. The fountain is a central meeting place for the people of Tunis. Woven carpets determine the city. In all colors and patterns they are offered. Tunisia is famous for its carpets. This craft is one of the oldest of the country. They are produced within the craftsman's home. The chief merit is not with the weavers. There are woven and knotted carpets. An important factor of quality is the number of knots per square meter. Here dominates the so-called magum, a very solid woven carpet. Also the kilim is common here. It is a woven rug or wall hanging with geometric or figural motifs, which are predominantly Berber origin. Luck symbols such as fish, eyes, but also landscapes are the motifs. Famous is the mud brick architecture in Tunis. Laid in different sheen, the ochre mud bricks form interesting geometric ornamentation. The style goes back to the 10th century, which was brought here by Arab immigrants from Mesopotamia. A quick look at the city map of the travel guide and we find a cafe to stop at. We sit together with Heidi and Guido at the cafe on the roadside and watch the interesting life passing by. Although Tunisia is said to be safe, we like to have our camper van in view. We leave Tunis and a short time later, again our car just stops. Although somewhat annoyed, we still enjoy the beautiful landscape of dry river valleys and interesting surveys. We hope that the car starts again. Maybe it's just become too hot. We are somewhat perplexed. Heidi and Guido catch up. We advise on the car's problems and they decide to stay with us in case of the worst case scenario. Before we proceed, we have delicious dates which we bought in Tunis. Dates grow only in oasis gardens with elaborate irrigation. Here at Tunis, they harvest high quality. Only the best is exported. In desert regions, the dates are one of the most important basic foods. They are nutritious and are rich in vitamins and can be stored for long periods and additionally taste delicious. We drive on through the Chott el Djerid, the largest contiguous salt desert of the Sahara. This region has little precipitation, evaporation is 25 times higher than the rainfall. Streams from the mountains enriched with dissolved salts and gypsum fill the sink. In the border zone, after the rains, often several meter deep salt marshes are formed. With increasing heat, the salts crystallize and form a thick crust. Below the crust, the soil often remains muddy for long, which makes driving on it an uncertain adventure. Even in the 1970s, only one mud road led through the Chott. Because of the lack of maintenance, again and again it was interrupted, and often was completely impassable. Since the completion of the asphalt road, it is open year-round. For more than 40 kilometers, the road leads through the Chott and has lost its terrors for desert travelers. A lot of stories rank around the Chott. Writers of 14th century report that a caravan of 1,000 camels had disappeared in the Chott without trace. Karl May also reported on the dangers of the Chott. The Sahara is the largest desert in the world. It is about as large as the whole United States of America. It stretches from the African Atlantic coast beginning at Morocco up to Egypt. The Sahara is mainly stone desert. The percentage of sand is only 20%. Temperatures range from up to 60 degrees centigrade during noon to minus 10 degrees during night. It is raining here as well, but only very seldom, some years not at all. It is inhabited by Arabs, Berber and Moran. There are also small groups like the Tuaregs. 60% of the population is living in oases. 40% are nomads or semi-nomads. In Kebili we come to a halt. Our caravan doesn't move anymore. Not a single meter. We have to go to a workshop. The tour guide Joachim and Renate have already arrived at the scene. Many heads, many opinions. What is the problem? No one really knows. Large helplessness sets in, but also many theories to come. The most persistent is taken. We could have tanked bad diesel that was stretched out with water, and therefore the whole system has to be cleaned. The tank must be emptied and washed out, the pipes must be cleaned, also allegedly a false diesel filter is installed. That makes me skeptical, but hope dies last. I look more closely at the workshop. On the ground is being broken down an engine. It belongs to a Peugeot 404, probably built in 1965. Are they able to cope with the modern Citroën? It is becoming clear that they have not found the error, and Joachim and Renate tow us to the campsite at Dus, where there is said to be a good mechanic who could fix the problem soon. But that will not happen until tomorrow. So we spend a quiet morning on the very nice campground. We do not know yet that this is only the beginning of our great martyrdom. During late morning, we take the car to the mechanic, who lives and works just 100 meters from the camp. Joachim is a true soul, waiting patiently with us for the diagnosis. I keep having stronger doubts. Was it right to take this tour with such a vehicle? Will they find and fix the problem? Must we return and tow the car to Tunis in the port and bring it back to Italy, hoping to repair it there? Or do we have to completely cancel the entire project? No sooner have I finished thinking, we receive the diagnosis. Unfortunately, it is the same as in the last workshop, which has not really led to the desired success. We let the mechanics continue and wait patiently on the sidewalk. Hour after hour goes by without evident results, and I begin to prepare coffee. Tara is visibly bored. This is not her idea of Africa. Nor is it our idea, because now we are spending a lot of time in the workshops. The boys on the roadside are watching the whole action, ready to help, because they are really helpful, the Tunisians. Joachim reads a book, I prepare coffee on the pavement, a new experience. I offer the guys coffee, but they reject with thanks. Instant coffee they would probably not like. It is almost evening and it is clear that the problem is not solved. The car must be placed on the tow truck and be brought to Gabes, 149 kilometers further. There will be a Peugeot specialist workshop, unfortunately not for Citroën. Halfway, in the middle of the night, we have an accident. On our tow truck a wheel bearing breaks, and only a hair's breadth we do not lose the left front wheel. We have to wait until a replacement comes. The night is cold, but the wheel bearing arrives and is immediately fixed. Our tour guides had continued even in the late afternoon with the group from Dus to Metameur. There we are to meet when the vehicle is repaired in Gabes. Soon we can continue our trip to Gabes, and we spend the rest of the night in the parking lot of the Peugeot garage. Will we still catch up with the group?